It starts with a bombshell. Mark Webber, the once quiet Australian F1 veteran, now Oscar Piastri's manager, just dropped a statement that echoes like thunder in the papaya halls of McLaren. "You have to be solid on all circuits," he says about his protégé Piastri. And, in terms of the number of kilometers spent in the lead, he is well ahead of Lando Norris, even if the points gap doesn't tell the full story. Boom. Webber didn't come to play, he came to shake things up. Picture this. At Zandvoort, Piastri was on pole, led every lap, and took the victory. Norris, he retired with a smoking engine, moments away from clinching the race. Suddenly, there's a 34-point gap. Sounds huge, but Webber argues that it doesn't fully reflect Piastri's dominance. In terms of kilometers spent in the lead, he is well ahead, he fired at RTBF. At Monza, Norris tried to look tough, saying he'd forgotten about Zandvoort, and doesn't want questions about his mentality messing with his championship fight. But the contrast is clear. Piastri is calm and composed. Norris admits he's more emotional. "I know who I'm up against. He's incredibly calm and composed. I look more emotional next to him," Norris concedes. Ouch. Meanwhile, the factory floors of Woking are buzzing. During the Italian GP at Monza, a slow pit stop for Norris forced the team to ask Piastri to let him through, even though Piastri had nothing to do with it. Team radio captured the uncomfortable moment. Piastri said, "I mean, we said that a slow pit stop was part of racing. I don't really get what's changed here, but if you really want me to do it, then I'll do it," before moving aside. The words hung in the air, cool, clipped, and full of resentment. This wasn't fair. It wasn't papaya rules. McLaren's past had echoes of this in Hungary last year. Nico Rosberg, watching from the broadcast booth, sounded alarm bells. "That will require some talks, because I think Oscar is not going to be happy with that," he said. Behind closed doors, McLaren's hierarchy must feel that tension in their bones. And here's the punch. Webber's statement isn't just a pat on the shoulder, it's a warning. He's pointing out that Piastri's consistency and leadership have already placed him ahead in reality, making Norris look vulnerable. If McLaren's board or management increasingly lean toward Norris, could Piastri be out at the end of this season or next? The whispers have begun. Let that simmer. Imagine being Piastri, calm under pressure. 9 wins to your name, tying Webber's career tally. Dominance behind you. Yet you're the one having to give up your position because of favoritism or team politics. That's betrayal-level tension in slow motion. This is more than a team fight. It's a clash of values. Norris preaching, "I want to do it my way. You don't have to be an asshole," claiming emotional honesty as strength. And Piastri, quiet, calculating, composed, letting data, laps, and kilometers tell the story. Who gets the nod when the battle lines blur? Especially if McLaren feels Norris brings a media-friendly attitude or local market appeal. We're heading into a turning point. If the constructor's title is already in the bag, as some suggest could happen soon, the team might shift to a driver-first approach. That's when Piastri could either cement his place or find himself boxed out. But here's the question. No one at McLaren wants to answer out loud. What if Oscar Piastri is already thinking about leaving? Because when you're leading races, winning from pole, doing everything right, only to be asked to step aside for your teammate. Again. It doesn't take long before the quiet ones start planning exits. The tension is real. After Monza, Piastri didn't explode. He didn't rant. He didn't even point fingers. He just said, "Bit of a tough one." Once the rear calmed down a bit, then it was all right. Not the easiest of weekends. Translation? This is a man swallowing his frustration, and that silence speaks volumes. Max Verstappen, watching from the front, couldn't believe it either. When told that Piastri had been ordered to let Norris pass because of a slow pit stop, his response was cutting. Ha! Just because he had a slow stop? The disbelief in his voice, the sheer absurdity of it, echoed around the paddock. Even Verstappen, king of team favoritism at Red Bull, found McLaren's move questionable. And if Max is side-eyeing your strategy, Maybe you've lost the plot. Lando Norris, for all his talent, didn't even respond when his engineer apologized for the Monza pit stop. Silent. Cold. Meanwhile, Piastri was left to defend the decision on track, and in the media, again. And it's not the first time. Hungary 2024. Same story. Oscar gets a clean run, only to be boxed into sacrificing his result for team reasons. How many team reasons before it's just favoritism? That's what Mark Webber seems to be hinting at, without saying the quiet part out loud. His language is precise. He's pushing a narrative, one that paints Piastri not just as a contender, but the rightful lead driver. The gap in terms of points does not fully reflect reality, he says. That's not just a compliment, it's an accusation, one aimed squarely at McLaren management. Let's get brutally honest. If McLaren keeps treating Oscar like a second-class citizen, Webber will walk him right into the arms of another team. And make no mistake, every team boss on the grid would answer that call in seconds. Piastri's market value is skyrocketing. He's only 24. He's composed, lightning quick, already proven. Want a Verstappen replacement at Red Bull? Hamilton's heir at Mercedes? Leclerc's rival at Ferrari? All options. Because loyalty fades when the radio messages turn into disrespect. The fan base knows it too. Social media is ablaze. Clips of Piastri's radio message, "I don't really get what's changed here," are being dissected like crime scene evidence. Norris's silence, equally damning. And in the shadows of it all, McLaren team boss Andrea Stella is nowhere to be seen, dodging the heat. Even Jamie Chadwick, speaking from the Sky Sports desk, called it out. McLaren put themselves in these awkward positions. No spin, just facts. This is now a management crisis wrapped in a title fight. And here's the philosophical bridge we can't ignore. Formula One isn't just about speed. It's about politics, about power, about knowing when to play the good soldier and when to start a mutiny. Piastri's silence is no longer humility. It's strategy. Every time he gets told to move over, every time Webber has to speak for him, every time the cameras catch that cold look under the helmet, the pressure builds. Not just for him, but for McLaren. Because if they lose him, they won't just be losing a future champion. They'll be repeating the mistakes of every team that let the quiet one slip away. Sound familiar? Ask Red Bull how losing Ricciardo felt. Ask Mercedes about George Russell's loyalty if they don't back him over Hamilton. F1 history is littered with teams that bet on the wrong driver at the wrong time. McLaren has a choice to make, and soon. Do they double down on Norris and risk losing Piastri? Or do they start treating Oscar like the generational talent he is, before someone else does? Webber's quote wasn't just about points, it was a warning. About time, about respect, about the future. And if McLaren ignores it, well, don't be surprised if 2026 opens with Piastri in red, or silver, or, just maybe, in that other shade of orange, on a grid far, far away from Woking. Let us know in the comments, is McLaren favouring the wrong driver? Should Oscar Piastri start looking elsewhere? Or will the team find a way to fix the cracks before it's too late? The silence might just be the loudest message of all.